Hi, glad you've joined me to talk about addictions, being addiction to things that we don't seem to have much control over and don't seem to go away. We might want them to, or maybe we don't want them to, but there is a way to get relief and to see change. The first thing that I guess I'd like to say, very important thing, is that you're not the addiction. You are compelled, pushed, practice a certain kind of thing over and over and over again. We call it an addiction. You just can't stop it. But that's not who you are. It's something that's kind of happened to you. You're caught in, feel trapped in. But that's not who you are. And so the first thing I just want to say to you is, and I've been addicted to numerous things, who I am, my identity, is that I'm a gift to others. I'm a gift to the world. And that's who you are. You're special. You're important. There's stuff inside of you that needs to be released, good stuff, gifts, talents, a voice, your love, your warmth, your personality, what you have to offer. That's who you are. That was created within you. Your smile, your looks. People need you, but you're not the addiction. That's not your identity. And I understand in AA programs, no matter which one it revolves around, whether it's sexual addiction or, drinking, drugs, whatever it might happen to be. I know in the 12-step program, which has real value, of course, but you're really, they want to bring you to the point where you say, I am an alcoholic, say. And that's to move aside, push away, denial, to face it head on. Say, this is a reality. But saying the words, I am an alcoholic, is a bit misleading from my perspective. You may have a problem. You may have addictions to alcohol, but that's not who you are. I am someone very different. And that's the calling that God has for you. And He didn't create you as an alcoholic. That is not what He put there. Those things happen because of small choices in our life, big choices, and sometimes things that push at us that are out of our control. And I want to look at all of that in order to find some relief for what we have. This is actually going to be a 3-part, because it's to come out of and find relief from addictions. We have to understand the bigger picture. I've been addicted to several things. The first addiction I'll mention is just that I was addicted to smoking. I still like to smoke, and I still do. I'll have a pipe or a cigar once in a while, but it doesn't control me. But there was a time in my life where, especially during my teenage years, in my younger years, where I smoked heavily, several packs a day, and just chain smoking. And there's also been a period of my life where I was addicted to pornography. I talk about that publicly. I don't hide the fact. I knew in ways within me that it was wrong. I certainly could see behavioral problems coming from it. I had a difficult time relating to women, because when you are into pornography, you just lose the ability to see people, and relationships become very weird, and it's very hard to be personable and relational when you're a pornography addict. It just changes your whole perspective, and it's hard to even be in a friendship with a woman because of all of that. going on within you. Anyway, I've been through all of that. I know the pressure the push that you just can't seem to get away from that. It's so powerful, so influential over you. And it's a push that any addict knows is there. It's a compulsion and it's powerful. And it drives you in such a way that your whole life revolves around it. So I get that. I understand. And sugar is another one. A lot of people have addictions to sugar, don't really realize it, but once sugar gets into your system, there's a compulsion within your physical body to have more sugar. And so many weight problems are just because of the powerful chemical addiction that's present just in sugar itself as an element. It's like in smoking, you have nicotine is a very addictive chemical. And so when we get involved in these things, we can get so pulled into it because of the chemical changes that take place in our body that those things are difficult to overcome. They can be, of course. And that's why the various things that are out there available to curb those appetites that are within you are necessary and important. I'm not really going to be addressing that, although I know that's a very real thing that we want to look at. We want to look at, well, how can I start reducing sugar so the cravings disappear? Fasting, of course, is the easiest one. But I'm not really going to get into all of that dynamic. There are plenty of research tools available for that. And certainly the AA meetings, some of the support groups that are out there are really helpful because teamwork, accountability to other people really does help curb, change your lifestyle so that you're not quite as prone to give into it. It just isn't as easy, is really what you're trying to do. But I want to look at two aspects, and that's the topics of the next two. But I want to look at two aspects of addiction that maybe you've never heard before, but they're clearly very, very important if you're going to get free of addictions. When people come to us in prayer ministry seeking help, and addictions will come up, problems with drinking, problems with smoking, drugs, whatever it is, gambling. We've seen it all. Everybody comes with all sorts of things that they just can't stop. Some have addictions to buying shoes and have hundreds of pairs of shoes. These things that happen to us, these compulsions that start to happen to us, have two main sources. There may be other contributing factors, but one of the first things that we say to people, that I will say to them, is, I'm not here as a therapist or as a counselor. That will help you, and it certainly, there's some advantages to getting that kind of backup support and counsel and so forth to get free of the patterns that you're in. But we don't, I don't say to someone, well, you should stop smoking or you should stop looking at pornography or whatever. I've been there. That doesn't work. And that's not really what our focus is in when we do healing and getting relief for people in overcoming things so they can get back to who they really are. We go underneath it. And I know if someone decides to stop smoking, for example, and they succeed at that, and I have, you just put more of your time and energy into a new addiction. You just jump from one to another. The addiction thing that's going on in us has a couple of roots. Why we never really completely get free of it. Why we might jump from giving up smoking or coffee, for example. We just turn to something else. And we need a lot of it. Becomes our go-to, our craving, our habit. And the first thing that I look at when people come is I try to find out, has there been any experience that you have had where you felt deeply ashamed, deeply embarrassed? And that is the case with every person that has come, including myself, who has struggled with addictions, is that there is shaming and embarrassing experiences that change us, that leave a devastating thing on our how we look at ourselves, that there's something really bad about me, something that I can't reveal to people. If they knew who I really was, they'd hate me. So shame is a mark on us that says to us, no one really could like you because of what's really there. We hide ourselves when we suffer with shame. There's often shame-based families where the entire family, everything about the family is shaming one another. It's a very painful hurt and wound. And so once we discover where is it that you've been shamed, how did that happen, what trauma did you experience where you felt guilty, like you should have done something about it. We see this in war, in our battle heroes who have been in war, that go into all sorts of addictions because they feel so ashamed inside, so guilty for what they have done, even if it was done under orders or righteously. But that shame is such an awful feeling coming up from our guts that we'll do anything to medicate it, anything to get our mind on something else instead of that, because it's a really cruel taskmaster. It's a powerful weapon of Satan and all of the demons. If they can make shame your cloak that you wear, they'll keep you down. It will push you down. And so we look at and say, what is there? What is the shame that has happened to you that you just want to get away from, want to hide from, want to medicate from, get some comfort, even if it's only temporary relief from that terrible stinging thing that's coming from within you. So shame is an important healing thing that we go after, and in the next talk we'll be looking at healing our shame and actually asking God to heal it and to lift that. And there is relief from that. Strongly encourage you to subscribe to this channel. Just hit that icon and subscribe, and so you can be notified when the next one comes. It's usually every Wednesday. So that is a huge area that we want to address and we'll address in the next session. The other factor, and this was especially true for me in relationship to my addiction to pornography. Pornography is fun, enjoyable, especially for a man, but there's many, many women that are addicted. But it's a powerful, powerful push on people. As young as 5, 6 years old, 4 years old, you'll see children addicted to pornography. And this is happening more and more. Psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, they're seeing more and more little children with this. Well, how is that even possible? And the reason it's possible is because the addiction to many things, say pornography, it's a sexual kind of addiction. And it comes because of the influence of what we call generational patterns, curses. Things that push at you that almost seem to affect your genes. You're born with an addiction personality. You're born with And that's a bad phrase because I just said that's not who you are. It sits on top of your personality and pushes you in a direction. And so, one small drink of alcohol at some point, even at a young age, releases within you the addiction. It's like, I want more of that. And it isn't even that it tasted good. Something happens and the addiction begins to push into your life. But it comes from the past, not your past, but your parents, your grandparents, and all of your ancestors. Generational curses are very, very real and very, very powerful. They gain in power with each successive generation. If your parents were addicted in any way to anything, alcohol or whatever, pornography, sexual addictions, the likely odds of you having that same compulsion are majestic. They're huge. And so my addiction that started when I was very, very young came because I was exposed to something and something clicked inside of me. This compulsion pushed its way in and said, do more of that. You like that. And it just began to grow into a place where I had no control over it. Now I'm addicted. But it comes from things that our parents or our grandparents or others do, and it opens the door to problems happening in successive generations. We have it certainly in health, physical problems. Doctors ask, well, what is your background? What's present in past generations? It's the same thing, only they're emotional or spiritual, if you want to call them that, kinds of tendencies that we all have. Fear, anxiety, we can have all kinds of them. Criticalness of others. It passes down from generation to generation, but it can be stopped. In my pornography addiction, I had gotten much healing for shame, but I did not seem to get free until finally God revealed to me that this was a generational curse. And when that was broken, and I will pray through that in the third session of this series on addiction, wow, it was like instant relief. The push, the pressure, and you know what it's like. You've been there, left instantly. I was at peace. It wasn't that I still had to keep my distance from certain things, but that compulsion had vanished. I can't tell you the relief I had. I can sit here and say, it's gone. It is gone. And that's what I'm offering to you and suggesting that you can get relief like I just described. You may think it's impossible. Others may tell you it's impossible. Doctors may tell you it's impossible, but this is a spiritual thing. And it's empowered by very, very powerful evil spirits. Yes, they exist. They would like you to think they don't so they can keep operating. But when they're removed as part of the prayer ministry for generational curses, you are free. In the third session, that's what we'll do. We will deal with it in particular. Thank you for joining me. Again, I encourage you to subscribe. That way you can get alerted to these next couple sessions on addiction relief. There is freedom for you. You deserve freedom. There's better for you, and you deserve it. You have a right to that. You have a right to be free. And that's because of what God, His love, offers to you. Freedom. He doesn't hate you. He doesn't want you mired in all these problems. He loves you. And he looks at you, holds out his hand to you. Won't you take it? Join me in the next 2 sessions. You'll be glad you did. Thank you. Bye-bye.